You say when?
There you go.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. It's great to see people from all over the world, so many places. When I think about what happened this year, I still have to remind myself that we built something that um, didn't exist before, not in this form, not with this level of connection. And that we did it together with very little time and resources, a lot of trust. Um, what matters to me most is that the global book roll has shown that this global frame can strengthen what happens locally. And I think that's the whole point. I mean, from the beginning, that was the point, uh, to use the global visibility to put the local community on the spot. Um, the the global part is not there to tell anyone what to do. It's here to give visibility and support and momentum to what each one of us creates on the ground in our neighborhoods, our cities, in our language. Um, so that's to say, welcome, and let's start preparing for the 2026 edition. Um, Maybe we can start by saying what we learned from the 2025 edition. I think that the first lesson was something very simple and I think useful, which is when a crawl feels focused, when it has um, a clear time frame, a moment, and when the route is something that people can actually walk, readers respond. Bookstores work together, people move around, and the book ecosystem becomes alive. And when that happens in many places around the world, well, the global wave uh, comes comes natural. And the other thing we learned is that formats that stretch too far in time or space tend to lose that shared energy. Uh, it's not a criticism. It's just how people have behaved, right? Um, a crawl needs a shape that people can hold on to and that it is perceived as something uh, real, not symbolic. Um, and I think that's the biggest lesson that I take. I don't know what's your take.
I mean, certainly in Australia, we had as last year we had 7 crawls. Um, and the two lessons I'd say came from that is that one of the crawls, which this year has dropped out, um, ranged from the top of Victoria to the bottom of Victoria, which was 300 kilometers.
Sorry, Jay. When you say this year, you mean
Sorry, 2025.
2025? Okay.
Yep, 2025, the crawl that was done, we had 7 crawls. And next 2026, we'll have 12 crawls. But having said that, one 2025 crawl has dropped out, which was the Northeast Victoria one, which was the largest crawl in terms of geography. It went from the top of Victoria to the end of Victoria, and it was 300 kilometers long. And people found that too much of a challenge. And so they expanded the time frame from that one week to 3 months. And nevertheless, they didn't capture, I think they captured one person who completed the crawl as they wanted it to. So they have felt it's not actually worth doing it because they were trying to do it geographically too large. So that's one lesson. The other lesson we had was the Sydney crawl, which actually was very successful. Um, they had 12 bookshops involved, which also required cars rather than walking. But nevertheless, what they said was that a completed crawl is two bookshops out of the 12. And a lot of their readers kind of objected to that. They went, two bookshops does not a crawl make. So they themselves decided to do, as many as they could, a lot of them completing the entire 12 crawls. So I think in a way, it's lovely to try and capture as many people as possible, but make it something a little bit more more bite-size, fun, but something they can achieve within that 1 week. For us, that's how we're going for the 12 crawls next year.
Yeah, the other thing in Australia too was the shops that had an incentive to complete the crawl. So in Melbourne, we had an incentive which we regretted, is giving everyone a book when they completed the crawl, and we were just overwhelmed. But it certainly did encourage. We had well over about 1,500 people who completed crawls over 10 shops. So it was, in fact, one shop has said it won't do it again because there was too many people.
We have had stores that have dropped out before, and so we've tried to identify what makes it work for them or not. And the biggest thing we heard was that some shops were like, it's too many people just coming in and getting a stamp and leaving and not buying anything. So we've tried to update our language to say, when you visit these stores, make sure to like support them, look around. And we've also tried to encourage the stores to have something affordable that, even if it's like a little giveaway or like stickers or something like that people can engage with, because that doesn't feel good for anybody to just be like, sign my passport, and then they leave. So we're still working on that. I think the challenge for us this coming year is going to be, we've had even more bookstores open in Brooklyn since our last crawl. So it's like, we have maybe 35 bookstores that we should probably include. So we're like, do we need to expand the length of our crawl? And I don't think we want it to be longer than a week. But we might go from the Saturday before Independent Bookstore Day to the Sunday afterwards, just give it like one extra day just to give people time. But we do have like the sort of two tiers. It's like if you visit 5 stores, you get a little prize. And the prize for us is a coupon for 25% off at any of those stores. So we're not giving away books, but we're saying if you buy something, you get an incentive. But if people complete all 35, then they get to come to this after party and they get bragging rights and all of that stuff. So I think I'm curious what folks think about what the official dates for Global Book Crawl might be this year, but we're still working out like what our dates might be. It won't be a month. I agree that it needs to be like a compact time frame, but with so many stores, I'm wondering if we need to add on a little bit of time.
So the Melbourne crawl in 2025 was just centralized. So it was in the city, and we had 12 bookshops involved then, very walkable, and I think that's why popular, as well as the fact that we were giving away free stuff. Because of how successful it was, all the other bookshops surrounding the city are also now very keen to be involved. So if you can imagine Melbourne, it's centralized, and then all around it, the inner suburbs were interested to join in the Melbourne Book Crawl. So we've kind of put a perimeter of about 10 kilometers from CBD, the Central Business District, for stores to come in, and we've now captured 40 bookshops. And exactly like you, Jessica, we're thinking, my God, how do we handle the 40 bookshops? So our experiment for 2026 will be that we will break it into 2 zones. So there'll be Zone 1, which is the Central Business District, so that we don't lose that impact that we had last year. And Zone 2 will be the outer perimeter. And we're saying that if you complete 9 bookshops within Zone 1, you're considered a completer. If you complete 12 within the outer zone, you're considered a completer. Or if you complete, I can't remember, 13 or something within either zone 1 or zone 2, you're considered a completer. And the reason we want that, we want to have a definition of a completer, is because at the end of it, there will be an incentive again, which I think Federico or Mark can talk to, which is not a physical book, but an audio book, which makes it a lot easier to handle. But that's how we're going to do it. And the reason is because we think we'll capture the international students and the visitors in the city, which is what happened last year. Probably the families who live in the suburbs who are happy to drive around, and the little kids, and a lot of the older folk actually don't like coming into the city because the traffic is a little bit more challenging. The traffic and parking is more challenging. So we think we'll attract different demographics. But then those who are really keen can do whatever they want, but still within an achievable number of stores and achievable time frame. We have started telling the bookshops it is going to be between April the 20th to April the 26th, which is a solid week. And no one's objected to that yet. Mark, did you want to continue?
Yeah, well, can I just go back to Jessica's point about the dates? I think if we can globally agree on roughly the same dates, I think it's great for marketing. And if you say the whole world is doing this at this time, one of the things we did last year is, you may know this, we asked every bookshop participating to make a small cash contribution. We employed a publicity company to do promotions, and we're going to use, and I think general consensus was that was really successful. We generated a lot of publicity, so we're going to do that again. And I think one of the briefs we will give this people is that the international aspect of it is the world of bookshops coming together, and perhaps I would like them to actually have talking heads, which might be they might bring up Jessica. An Australian newspaper might bring up Jessica and say, what's happening in your world? So I think if we can hit on roughly the same dates, I think it would be advantageous.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And I think the 20th to the 26th makes sense. Although I'd love to hear from Courtney, who works for the American Booksellers Association and probably talks to lots and lots of bookstores who are doing crawls. If you heard anything last year about like what folks learned or what is tending to work in general.
Yeah, I was mainly listening since I am new to the group, so thanks for letting me be a part of it. I would agree with mostly what everybody else was saying with participation, not having it too long. It's a little bit harder in some parts of the states because things are more spread out. Because Jay, you were talking about the part of Australia that it was almost too much space or too much distance to try to cover. So I think that's a challenge in a lot of our states, probably out west, to try to make a larger crawl than just two, which is not really a crawl like you had mentioned. But yeah, I will say that for Independent Bookstore Day next year, we do advertise like a week of celebration anyway. So if it is these dates that you initially laid out, that works great on our end. We currently are running our signups, and we have over 1,000 stores already signed up for at least the one day, but they'll have probably multiple days of the experience, not just that one day. So yeah, we're happy to adjust as need be with the advertising and marketing, but we're kind of set with at least our dates here in the States.
And what dates are they?
It's April 26th is the actual Independent Bookstore Day, but we market the whole week. So I guess that was the 20th. Was that the dates that you had mentioned, Jessica?
Wait, I thought it was on the Saturday because Saturday
Oh, 25th.
is
25th.
the
Sorry.
25th.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm going crazy.
Oh my gosh. That was this
No,
past year. Sorry.
Right. It moves around. But yeah, it's
It does.
April 25th is bookstore
Yes.
day.
Correct.
But then
Yep.
everything else is a little bit up for grabs.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so I could see folks extending the crawl to the Sunday and starting it on the Monday. And if folks want to, have a little preview and start it the weekend prior, like I don't think that harms the brand. If we're advertising it as like the 20th to 26th, I could see that making a lot of sense.
In Guatemala, we're thinking about having it be from Saturday to Sunday, so that's April 18th to April 26th, because that way we get 2 weekends, and that is good for a city with a lot of traffic during the week. And then our crawl was kind of countrywide last year, and that was not really successful for bookstores outside of Guatemala City. So um, we're probably going to be doing crawls that are citywide only, like Guatemala City and Quetzaltenango and Antigua, Guatemala, which is challenging for a city like Antigua because it has 3 or 4 bookstores only. But we're going to try that out this year and see how that goes.
Yeah, it was the same for us, Philippe. So we did 25 bookshops around Ireland, and then we did continue it for the summer. And I suppose it was good in that it highlighted other bookshops for people to visit, and there definitely seemed to be an appetite for that. But it wasn't really a crawl, because some people maybe went to 1 or 2 while they were there in the visiting, or yeah, some people managed it, but not many. So I don't know. It's a bit of a challenge in Ireland. I don't really know how to go forward with it. The solution, I guess, is to have small crawls. The problem is in the town that I'm in, we're a really small town. There's only 1,600 people live in the town, and there are 4 bookshops, and they're all right next to each other. You don't need to do a crawl, So I don't know how that's going to work. And then there's the cities, but then my fear is that I'm just going to end up organizing it, for other people. I don't know. I have to see if I can find some people to run with it, but I don't know. I mean, I found people who were interested last year and joined, but whether they'll actually run with it themselves and pick it up and organize a crawl, I don't know. That's the truth of it. So it needs a bit of work.
I mean,
I had
can I just add that
Sure.
that there is no frigging way that we would be organizing the local crawls for the local people. So we've made it very clear, with what we're doing. If you're interested to have a crawl in your region and there's no local coordinator, could you please put your hand up to do it? Um, and we've said that so I mean, I'm quite happy. I've sent a little document to Federico that we use in Australia, where we have almost done like a hierarchy of organizers and what the expectations are, so that everyone kind of shoulders it. So at the national, what we call the national coordinator level, there's myself and Mark and another bookshop lady called Anna in Sydney, and we look after this kind of conversations, um, the first approach to sponsorship, the talking to the PR people, that sort of thing. And then the next level down is the local coordinators, who would be the ones responsible for getting in touch with the bookshops in their area to formulate a crawl. And then there's the expectation of the bookshop who's participating. And the main expectation there is for them to pay the $100, as well as to get, a stamp ready, et cetera, that sort of thing. So we have leveled it off. And it's worked quite well because everyone has ownership of what's going on. And I think there wouldn't be that sort of participation if you were doing all the work for them, Britt. Then they kind of,
Yeah, and
yeah, you can't.
realistically, it's not going to happen anyway
No.
because yeah. I mean, I'll come up with some kind of hierarchy. I mean, I need to kind of map out all the bookshops in Ireland and see where the most likely. I mean, obviously, there's the cities, yes, but like, um, I don't know. I find here with the bookshops, they tend to be kind of really busy. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
hard to get them to commit to it. But we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Hey, that's so
I
interesting because
had
I
a
feel like in the, oh, sorry, you want to go first, Federico?
no, go ahead.
I was just it's so interesting that you're so coordinated on a national level. I mean, in the US, it is far more decentralized. Like everybody is just doing their own thing. Although we have the Winter Institute conference coming up in February, and I'm speaking on a panel with some other booksellers who run crawls in their region, and it's sort of a best practice sharing session, like informational session for other booksellers. So that's kind of how we all tend to be like, well, here's what I do, and here's what I do, and then everybody figures it out on their own. Um, but I don't think you could really do it any other way with the US because there's just too many. But I do feel like that panel would be a great opportunity to pitch global book crawl participation, because a lot of places are doing crawls, but they aren't necessarily aware of or participating in GBC. So I would love it if we had at that point some kind of little like a sign up and even like branding assets, because people are going to do their own thing in terms of their passports or whatever they're doing. But it'd be great to have something that's like, and I'm part of the global book crawl, and that takes people back to the whole network. So it's just something I've been thinking about in anticipation of February. So handing it off to you, Federico, because that would probably be something in your court.
Yes, I was just going to say that it'd be great to pitch the global book crawl at that session. Also, I had a conversation yesterday with a representative from the Swiss Bookseller Association. And because they are a booksellers association and well, all the members are the booksellers in Switzerland, they feel that if they organize the Swiss book crawl, everybody has to be involved, and they are the ones who have to organize them. And what they say is that it's something that is top down. They decide everything, and booksellers are not the protagonists, so they don't get really involved. And what the thing is that it is contrary to the spirit of the global book crawl, because we have to um, help the booksellers or give them a motivation to customers to come to the to the stores. I mean, it's a pitch for their communities. It, using this global visibility, this something that is attractive, that is dynamic, but invites them to come to the stores. And the thing, what in fact happens is that if as it's a national book crawl, people tend to go to the bookstores that are already more visible, more accessible, and don't go to those who really need this kind of help, uh, which are the ones that are smaller or in smaller towns and less visible. So they've agreed that they have to change the design and have smaller crawls. And my suggestion to him and maybe to you, Britt, was pick the most enthusiastic booksellers that you know, and see if they want to organize the book crawl in their area. I'd rather have less crawls, less people involved, but more involved, and making sure that everybody is publicizing the event in social media, being active, and but yes, it's too much work to push people around. And then what you said, Jessica, about the something to put on the passport or to share in social media saying we're part of the Global Book Roll. I can talk to the designer who's finishing the illustration for the website and see if she can come up with something like that. Of course, it's good. It's a good idea. About
Yeah, I
the
could use that as well to promote it as well. If there was something, I would use it as well in Ireland. Yeah.
yes, about the passport, I said in a previous message that we have to find, it's not that we all have to use the same passport, of course, but we have to find a balance between expressing the diversity and celebrating diversity and making the most of the little resources that we can get and see what can be used or passed around and be used elsewhere. Well, it's more like sharing more than imposing something from from the global side. Mhm. My concern is we keep working and doing great things, but isolated. Let's try to find a balance of what we can share of what we're doing. And actually, that's the spirit of the Global Book Roll. We don't want to become one international global business, but a place where people can share what they're doing, and just not just the Global Book Roll, but other projects, book clubs, technology that we can develop. That's the goal, the long-term goal.
Yeah, well, I think the using a common design element is a great one that people around the world can see, and we're going to use. We didn't use it last year, but we will this year, won't we, Jay?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there were 7 crawls, and 5 of the crawls did use the design elements, and 2 didn't, but that's okay. And this year, I suspect all the 12 crawls will be dependent. I mean, will be wanting the visual elements coming in from international. Um, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I think it's great to have the flexibility to have the resources there for folks who might be like, I need everything. Just give me everything. The whole design, the whole package. I can't do that on my own. Versus other regions might be like, no, we have our thing. We want to do something like really local and specific to us, to have an option for both of those ends of the spectrum, to have a way to, you know, be identified as participating. So whether it's like the whole graphics package, or just like a sort of
The
stamp
logo.
of a logo or something like that, I think that would be great. And I think having the resources is going to be incredibly valuable for some regions, and others are going to really just want to be able to be like, well, how do I show that I'm part of it while still hanging on to this other stuff which I've already developed or is really important to me. So I think that flexibility is great. And Federico, we're so grateful to you and to the design team you've been working with for coming up with all of that stuff.
Yes, but I totally agree. It's never imposing. It's always offering and sharing. But also it has to be clear for everyone that if we don't show that we're part of this global thing, both sides end up losing, right?
Yeah, it loses some impact for sure. And I think we could have the global book crawl element of the local crawls that we're doing have more of an impact this year. Maybe I think that could be maybe the goal for what we're doing this year. I think we created a lot of new crawls last year. So this year it's sort of like, let's get the branding a little bit more solid, and have more stores that are doing their own crawls, in whatever context, like like sign up to be part of the network.
Yeah, one of the things I was wondering whether we could somehow get airline magazines to do feature articles on, you're traveling to Boston or something, here's something to do in April, or to Spain, or I mean that would be really great. And if we could, I don't know how we do that. I might approach our local Qantas and see if they might be interested in doing something. But I think that would be terrific and use your design elements, Frederica.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yes, great idea. Yes, I have no contacts with Iberia here, but I'll try to find out. Yes, it's a great idea, of course. Yes, of course, they're always looking for content, valuable content, of course. If we can provide something that it's interesting and global, yeah, sure.
Yeah, and people, I think there is an interest in bookshops now, especially independent ones, and could make a really good story for those. As you say, they're looking for content, and something to hang something on a destination would be a great thing.
Sure, sure. Great idea.
Yeah, or even more so
I don't
like
know if
travel magazines in general. I feel like it'd be a sort of like a take on international tourism to have international bookstore tourism. So I don't have any context there, but it seems like Courtney and the ABA might be able to explore connections, at least with some American publications.
has everyone seen the design that we're working on? The logo and the illustration. Jay, can you share them? I don't know if I can share. Do I need? Yes, I sent you a request to share the images.
I have just accepted.
Okay. One second, sorry.
That's all right.
Do you see it?
Nope.
Now?
Coming. Yep. I see it.
So this is the main illustration for the website. It's going to be this vertical format, but also split in different illustrations that we can use in other formats, social media, or whatever. She's also jazzed up the logo, which is much nicer now, simpler, was a bit complicated before. Um, and then we're going to have a map, a global, a world map divided in regions, and instead of having one illustration per crawl, which was not feasible, um, the map will be divided in the different regions, and we can add the illustration for that region on the page for each crawl. And
Federico, I'm still seeing the first image. Were you wanting to move ahead to show us the logo and the map as well?
No.
Oh, we're
I
still
don't
looking
have
at
the
that one.
map
Okay.
yet. Yes, but I can show you the logo, the new logo. Wait.
Federico,
Yes.
while you are looking for the logo, you know,
Yes. Go ahead.
last year, the elements were, you know, this I love this. This is terrific. I'm just wondering whether if this is going to be the main visual, whether you actually need the words global book crawl embedded in there somewhere.
I was thinking that too, Jay. Yeah, just as you were saying it, to
Yeah,
have it somewhere.
because
Yeah.
last year I remember there was the you know, they had the whole all the bookshops, blah blah blah, but then right in the middle of it, it was global book crawl, and I think you
Mm.
just need those words popping out somewhere.
It'll have to be somewhere. Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't discussed it with her.
And also that everything's called a bookshop. Different countries use different bookstore in America, and
Libreria, or
Yes.
yeah, it'd be fun
Yeah.
to have some other languages.
Mm.
Yes.
is to give it an international feel.
Yeah, that's it. I can't find the logo right now. I don't know where it is.
Let me see whether
But
I can.
sorry. Do you have it, Jay?
I don't have it on my computer. I've got it on my phone. I'll just see whether you guys can see it. Just give me 2 seconds.
Did I send it to you by via WhatsApp?
Yep.
Mm. Yeah, it was on WhatsApp.
Sorry, can you see or not really? No good?
This is the one.
No, it's fuzzy.
No
It's
good.
grayed.
Yeah, sorry.
That's
That's the
okay.
best I can do.
I have it now.
Okay.
Many. Can you see it now?
No, we can see the text message, but not the crawl.
I mean, it might be easier to just resend it to the group on the
Yeah.
WhatsApp thread, and then we can all
Okay.
see it there. But oh,
Yeah, so
Yeah, you can see it.
that's the black and white one
That's
that you have
the
there.
that's the black and white one. Yes. It has a bit of there's another version with more color. So it's simplified and
yeah, and the initials are very stacked up, which is nice. Yeah, I think
yeah.
this could actually work really well as like, what people could sort of like incorporate into their own designs. I mean, maybe along the top something that says like part of the, or participating in the, or
Yeah.
something like that, or people could add that themselves, I guess.
No, we can do that. We can add the text part of the global book row. That's easy.
What do
Okay.
others think? What do the Australians think? You have a lot of different passports to work with.
No, we are happy. I mean, I've seen, I demanded, I demanded the Global Book Crawl logo a bit earlier because we've got something going on with Penguin in Australia. Penguin's been an incredible partner for us, along with all the other publishers. And I think that is one benefit of it being coordinated the way it is. I think Australia had the advantage, basically, Jessica, where we didn't have that many crawls. So when you guys approached us about it, we could start from the baseline, which is why it became so, coordinated, for want of a better word, but a lot of independence as well. We decided that we wouldn't make it official from the Australian equivalent of ABA because not everyone's a member. and we wanted to include everyone. So, and ABA was very understanding of that, which is why Mark and I are kind of doing it organically, but with their support, so to speak. So we've got, indie bookshops from whether they're part of the ABA or otherwise. Um, and also the other thing with the ABA in Australia is it also looks after franchises, or, they've got members who are franchises. And we wanted it to be very much an indie bookshop focused thing. So we deliberately took off all the official and formalities around it and tried to make it organic that way. Um, so having said all that, one of the beauties of doing
Yes.
it this way is that Mark was able to basically say to the publishers, look, we've got in 2025, it was 64 bookshops involved. In 2026, it'll be 120 bookshops, which is, a pretty good market for the publishers. What can you do for us? And the publishers kind of like that, or the sponsors like that, because they're not coordinating with 12 different people and having to favor the cities versus the countries or whatever. Um, so Penguin came in, and in fact, in 2025, they actually published, or they printed all our maps for us, which took a big expense off for us. And they're doing it again next year. And then they heard our feedback, which was the same with some of the bookshops that you saw, Jessica, where people would come in and ask for a stamp and leave without buying. So next year they're focusing more on trying to get people to buy. So in kind of independently, but with us, what they're saying is, guys, readers, if you're going into a bookshop during Global Book Crawl Week, there's an extra promotion if you buy a Penguin book. And the extra promotion is if you buy a Penguin book, you'll be given a pack. Yeah, like this, which basically contains 3 characters. So it's collectibles. And basically they can collect, it'll be random, but there are 6 of these to collect. And they are hoping that it will take off and that people will meet each other on the streets and say, I've got 3 of these. Will you swap it with me? And have that kind of conversation happening. So it kind of boosts sales, we hope, as well as conversation. Some of the bookshops love the idea because, mine, for example, I know that we'll be getting a lot of international students and they'll love this sort of thing, the younger ones. Some of the more highbrow bookshops are saying, well, that's not for my market. And maybe we won't do it, but Penguin is very flexible. They go, it's up to you whether you want it or not. We're offering this for you. And just to finish it off, that was just a mock-up, by the way, so they haven't printed it properly yet. But they basically are putting the Global Book Crawl brand next to their Penguin brand. This is the old logo, but they will be putting in the new logo. So, that really is, I'm talking about it, but Mark is the one who's been absolutely using his influence with the publishers to get it going for all the bookshops.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And also a special card is named Jay, like
Yes,
one with
there is a special one. So there is a rare card. They've done it properly, and there's a hologram one, which will be much more rare, and people will be, hopefully wanting the rare card. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, my daughter and her friends would be obsessed with that
Right.
project. That is so cool. What a
Yeah.
great idea. And
Yep.
yeah,
And
I was like,
Penguin totally approached us about it. With this idea, it wasn't us who approached them. They said, look, we're really wanting to do something else for the GBC. What about this? And then and their marketing team, I tell you, it's like 1/6 my age. They were young people who got really excited about this. And, so we were like kind of faking excitement because, because it's really not for our age, but nevertheless, yes, I think it's fantastic.
that's
Federico,
phenomenal. I
Can
love
you-
that. And I
can
was
you-
really curious. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Federico, I'm
Yeah,
wondering,
yeah, I love it. I love it too. And I'm thinking in Madrid because we're going to have the support of the regional government there, and they have money, they have resources,
yeah,
so they might be able to do something. But from the organizers, and that would be tremendous,
yeah, yeah,
Well,
and it would be uh, regardless the publisher of the book.
I wonder if
Uh,
ERH and other markets might copy Australia, and
I mean,
I'm
by
sure
all means, use the example because I'm sure Penguin Australia,
we happy to share
they're
it.
very easy about it.
Yeah, that's a really interesting
Okay.
idea. I mean, in the US, the publishers do a lot of support of Independent Bookstore Day, and they coordinate with the ABA, the American ABA, about that. But we haven't really reached out to them about supporting bookstore crawls or the global book crawl.
Yeah.
But I can imagine that working. And I mean, and I think usually it's like for the printing costs, folks sort of like pool the costs locally. That's what we do in Brooklyn. I think that's what a lot of folks do. Maybe sometimes they find like a local publisher partner or something, but there's not a sort of national coordinated effort. But it might be something that publishers could offer if folks are planning a crawl. Be like, if you are interested in signing up for this, your crawl could sign up to for this partnership.
Yes.
Yeah,
The
so
other,
maybe Courtney and I could strategize a little bit on like who would be the right people to approach at Penguin Random House or HarperCollins or one of the other big guys.
The other beauty is that Penguin, as well as Hachette, as well as HarperCollins, and well, I don't think we've approached HarperCollins, but anyway, they've said, look, we are very happy to support, and what they will do is get their influencers to talk about the crawl. So all the publishers have got their own, bevy of TikTok influencers and all that kind of thing, and they will push the GBC to be talked about within TikTok for us. So that it already looks after the PR without any expense on our part, which is great, right? I mean, it's a huge thing. Yeah.
There is something where we can join forces and strength and have them coordinate and do it in some way that it really
Kicks off.
multiplies. Yeah, maybe having them comment on each other publications, having guys from the States
Yeah.
retweet or repost an Instagram post from someone from Iceland or Australia or Sweden.
Yep.
If we could,
Mark,
Can I
if we
ask a
could,
couple of like design branding questions that are maybe for you, Federico? Do you
yeah,
have
go
a
ahead.
sense of when the Global Book Crawl website will be updated from 25 to 26?
I talked to the illustrator today, and she said that by the end of this month, the illustrations should be ready. So
Fantastic. I love that.
we get
Okay,
as soon as we have the illustrations, we can start working on the website, and by the beginning of the year, it should
great.
be ready.
and
Yeah, that seems like
Yeah,
a great
as
timeline.
soon as you get the illustrations, can you send us the visual assets so we can start,
sure,
merchandising and stuff
of
like that?
course,
And then I was also
absolutely.
wondering, I mean, the easiest way for us to be able to find and amplify each other on socials is if there's like a hashtag or like I
There
don't like an
is.
actual tag. And I just couldn't remember what it is. If it's a GBC
It's
or if it's Global Book Crawl or if it's Global Book Crawl, the whole thing. Okay.
hashtag global book crawl. Yes,
Okay. So I want to make sure like anybody who's signing up or getting on board that we're all kind of using the same hashtag so we can find each other and
of
repost and all of
course.
that stuff. Okay. Yeah, because I was like, I don't know how
And
much we're
it's
using GBC, but for the most part, it's Global Book Crawl. Okay.
yeah, and it was one of the things that customers here told us that it was fun for them to see publications from other customers, other readers uh, across the globe doing the same thing. Great. The next thing would be on the agenda would be the Libro FM, Libro.efm. I don't know, Mark, do you want to tell us about?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, the crawl that Jay and I organized, where we gave everyone a free book when they completed the crawl, was hugely successful, but logistically and cost-wise, terribly problematic. Uh, so we had the idea of saying it's a nice idea to give them something, and we were going to give them like a sticker or something like Jessica was talking, but then I approached Libro and said, would you be interested in giving people who completed the crawl an audio book? And they came back to us within a couple of days and said, yep, we will give everyone who completes a crawl a code that the bookshop has to give to them, and they get an audio book of their choice. And I think they're quite happy to roll it out worldwide. Um, I I think Jay and I were terribly excited about it. I mean, it's a little bit counterintuitive giving someone going to a bookshop an audio book, but still, certainly the Australian bookshops love working with Libro, and audio books are here to stay. So we might as well get. It does help us if we raise their profile, and it's a great incentive, I think, to get people to complete crawls.
Is
So
everyone familiar with Libro?
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think they also do a lot of support of Bookstore Day,
Indeed.
Courtney. I can't remember what specifically they do, but there's some kind of promotion.
Yeah, it's usually like a
Golden-
membership kind of discount or a bundle kind of thing, or particular books are for sale. So they do a bunch of things. So I think we're already naturally partners with them for that week. So this would be great to add that on top. I did have a question about, you were talking about logistics of when you did it before. How do you compile like who completed a crawl, or like I don't know. I'm such a pessimist of like, are people actually, you know what I mean? Like I want to believe the good in people, but I also like know how
So
people can get.
on the
So,
on the
mhm.
mats or on the passports, we had the 12 bookshops listed, next to which
Mhm.
there's a little square where you've got to visit them to get a particular stamp.
Okay, it's physical passports,
Physical.
not like a digital thing.
No.
Okay.
Sydney
Okay.
did it digitally, but only to capture. So let me finish what I'm saying. So for us, it was if you complete, I think it was 9 or 10, I can't remember, of the 12, you're considered a completer. So people would come up to the bookshop store and say, I've done my 12. Staff would look at the 9 and then give them a book. And the reason we were able to do that is because when Mark approached the publishers about supporting the crawl, a lot of them said, we can't give you money, but we can give you books. And they sent us, boxes of books, but they would only at that for 2025 only send it to one point because they didn't want to do the freight thing. So it all came to Melbourne, and we had to dispense of the books somehow. And to be perfectly honest, Mark and I thought a successful crawl would be 50 people doing it that week. So we thought, well, let's give the books away, basically. And of course, we ended up with, 1,700 or something. And we started, yeah. So, which is why I suspect one of the bookshops has pulled out because it was just overwhelming. And some of the crawlers, became quite feral, as Federico also experienced. They complained,
God.
about half a dozen of
Yes.
them complained to the global people. A couple of them
Oh.
wrote to Penguin. Was just ridiculous. But overall was terrific. So Libro, just to close that loop,
Mhm.
have said that they're going to try and make it as painless as possible. That basically what they'll do is they're thinking, so they haven't finalized it, but it'll be like a QR code. So
Okay.
basically, you don't have to put, no printing, nothing like that, no expense. You finish your 9 crawls, you show your ticket to the whoever,
Mm.
and then they basically give you a QR code, you scan, and then you go off and join the membership. Um, and yes, they are not limiting it to what audiobooks. You can choose a book from their entire library, which is great. Yeah. And of course, if you're a new member, you can nominate a bookshop for that little percentage to go to the bookshop.
Are they all individual codes, or is there just like one master code that
I don't
people are
know. They
giving
haven't
out?
told us yet.
They haven't told us. Okay.
No,
working
That's
on
Yeah, I'm sure they've thought of it. Yeah.
yeah, and also I did say, well, what is there a problem with, if you give us a code and they share the code with people who haven't done the crawl? And from Libro's point of view, they're not fast. They go, the more memberships, the better. So we're not going to be too strict about that. So you guys don't have to worry too much about that either. So, and absolutely, I think they've spoken to Federico and they're very keen to go
Yes.
into all of you for anyone who wants to do it. They've already stated that very clearly.
So should
Yeah,
we?
the offer is
Sorry.
is global.
Mark, who was the name? What was the name of the lady we spoke to? She was from California, wasn't she?
She was in California, Romero, I think, or I can't remember, but
Albie. Was
Yes.
it Albie?
yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we work with her. Yep.
right.
Nice.
So I think that's, it's obviously up to each crawl in each country whether they want to participate in that. But it seems to me like it's a no-brainer that why wouldn't you? And it gives the global book crawl something exciting to do. It also saves us money, and Jay and I were thinking of using some of our money to produce a pin or something like that, but there's no need with giving away if we have a book to give away.
Yeah, I think it works, Mark. I mean, certainly in promoting, trying to get people to do crawls here in Ireland, I think, they can offer it. They don't have to use it. If an individual crawl wants to do a physical book, well, they could do that too, or giveaways or whatever, or discount codes. But it's just one other thing, isn't it, in the basket of what we can offer.
I suppose too, it could save you having to do a discount code. There was
It
a
is
lot
a
of,
lot less hassle. It is a lot less hassle, but I suppose I'm still leaning towards the physical book personally. We want to keep people reading books and not turning totally towards audio. And yeah, I mean, I would personally prefer to give people a physical book, but I understand it's not, it's difficult to do that. Yeah, and expensive. Mm,
Yeah, I could see doing a combination, and I have to
yeah,
hop off in a moment as well. But I mean that's one of the reasons we do the coupon, because
yeah.
it's 25% off at any of the bookstores participating, and it's good through the end of May. So the idea is that you don't just see them for the crawl; they've got to come back again, and then they get something. So that's worked for us. But I mean, one of the great things about it is the diversity of how everybody figures out and makes it work. So thank you guys all so much for the amazing ideas. I'm really excited about where we're going this year.
Are we done, Federico?
No, before you go, I really would like to for us to think in ways that we can, I don't know, a way that we can create so that we can share what we're doing, the elements that we are creating, and start promoting that way of working together.
You mean like a
Because,
platform?
yeah, probably.
Like thinking about how, yeah, that is sort of the goal in the next step. I mean, we've right as of now, it's kind of just WhatsApp, right? Primarily.
Mhm.
I don't know what that platform is.
Let's think about that, and I don't
so
know. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
is this something where you see that each region would upload the materials they produced for other people to have a look
That
copy?
that could be, yeah, that could be an idea, of course. And when you talk to a designer, explain them that those materials could be used elsewhere.
Yeah.
And maybe have them in a um, modifiable format or something like that.
Could it be on the website in like an admin area or something like that we could upload things?
And they
I can
were, weren't
look
they?
up.
Last year they were there, weren't they? They were all on the website.
Yes, but on an open area. Should be in an
Okay.
admin.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. We haven't spoken about One Word, One Book, but we can do that some other time. Jessica needs to go.
When are you hoping to launch, Federico? So
I'm waiting for the website to be ready and the One World, One Book to have its own landing.
okay.
But it'll be after the Christmas season. Right now, it's
Yeah, it's just
people
getting too
have
busy.
their
Yeah.
minds and just something else.
Mhm.
It's very true,
So-
but definitely looking forward to hearing more about that. Thank you.
Mm.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank
Thanks.
you,
Thank you so
Jay,
much for
for
Thank
setting
you,
this up.
everyone. Thanks. Okay. Bye.
Talk to you all soon, I hope. Take care. Happy holidays.
Hello.
Yeah.
Have
Bye.
a good weekend.
Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.